All right, Shalom. All praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Ba Shem Kakwadash, double honors to the elder apostles, and honors and salutations to you, Akim, this laborer. This is an article from NBC News. It's dated October the 16th, 2020, and it's entitled, it says, Black Man Serving Life Sentencing for Stealing Hedge Clippers Granted Parole. Now, when I came across this article, the first thing came to mind was damn, man, for some hedge clippers, and then, I instantly thought, like, I wonder what this man did in his past life. But, you know, um, just to think of it, man, it goes to show you how much we were oppressed in this place. For Esau to lock you up for some hedge clippers, that's an act of hatred because this man was in prison for over 2 decades. All right. Now let's get into the article, and I got some precepts in mind, but I'm gonna show you the cost of some hedge clippers today. So these are hedge clippers. All right, if you don't know what hedge clippers are, they're used for gardening mainly. Cutting weeds. Things like that. I used to use these as a kid with my grandmother on my mom's side. Being around the farm. Or just planting your own veggies in general. Being out in the field. You learn how to use these hedge clippers. Whether they're handheld, which those are the ones I mainly use, and also you have the motor kind, which those use gas. They take gas to power them or get them to go on them. I'm sorry. So let's get into the article. Sloppy. It says a black man in Louisiana serving life in prison for stealing hedge clippers more than 2 decades ago was granted parole, months after the state's Supreme Court declined to review his sentence. The Board of Pardons and Committee on Parole voted Thursday to release Fairwayne Bryant, 63 years old. Records show he walked out of prison later that day after serving more than 20 years at the state penitentiary in Angola, his attorney said. Bryant will enter into a program in Baton Rouge that helps prisoners adjust to life after they are released. Eventually, he will be allowed to live with his brother in Shreveport. Under the conditions of his parole, Brian will have a curfew, must attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and complete community service. This man haven't had a drink, shit, in so long. You got him going to AA meetings. He ain't got to do community service after 2+ years of, or I'm sorry, 2+ decades, over 20 years of being in prison for stealing some hedge clippers. How much more debt to so-called society you have to pay? Esau, man. It says the Louisiana American Civil Liberties Union called the board's decision to grant parole a long overdue victory. So here's the guy right here, Fairwayne Bryant. So he was released on October 15th. It says, Bryant was 38 years old when he was arrested in January 1997 for taking a pair of clippers from a carport storeroom at a home in Shreveport. The homeowner was alerted to the theft and chased Bryant off. That same year, a jury convicted him of attempted simple burglary of an inhabited dwelling, and Bryant, who had previous convictions, was sentenced to life in prison because he was considered a habitual offender under state law. So now they saying that he was an habitual offender, you know, which I don't know, they don't lay out his criminal history, so-called criminal history. So, who knows? But, it's always an excuse to, justify, as far as Esau, Esau used a excuse to justify his wickedness, and he quick to pull up, some kind of alleged history of you doing incriminating acts, so, the guy could have had a previous record, I don't know. It doesn't say. All right, it doesn't give a list of his criminal history, but I know that they went from being, stealing hedge clippers to being a burglary, which doesn't make sense. So, I mean, point blank period is, it's ridiculous, So, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 12. It says, "Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon." I mean, you gotta think about what's going on to our people, man. We've been sorely oppressed by these Edomites, man. And it's overwhelming that we are oppressed by these Edomites. I mean, okay, if a man is a habitual offender, well, Esau can lock you up for a petty crime, because in Esau's society, in his kingdom, a crime is a crime. Even though it's something petty or maybe nothing really in actuality, but to Esau, he'll find anything to lock Jake up on, man. All right, so fucking hedge clippers, man. I mean, imagine how, if they're around $20 now, imagine how much they were in 1997. I was but a boy, during that time. A young boy, almost a young man. So, things were a lot cheaper then. You could go to the flea market and get some hedge clippers for probably a couple bucks. And they were still in great condition. You can file the blade, resharpen it. So it wasn't nothing serious, But this is Jake. Jake like to be right here in America and suffer this oppression willingly instead of wanting the kingdom of heaven, And the crazy, the irony of the situation involving this Fairwayne Bryant guy. He would look at one of us Akim with a straight face and take the side of an Edomite or Esau in general. So, that's the irony of it, which is crazy. You would think that man in his predicament would be, would be pissed off. Now, I want to grab something too, showing you that the 13th Amendment is in effect. I actually pulled it up. It says, this is from Google, 13th Amendment, Section 1. It says, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." So just for a crime like, stealing hedge clippers, Esau can make you a legal slave. Even though you're already a slave, the word emancipate means to transfer or to hand over as property. So technically we're all still slaves to Esau. All right. Every single Israelite, this is another way that Esau made him a legal slave, for 23 years. All right. So basically 23 bucks, I think it said it was. Let's go back to it. Yeah, so 1998. So after taxes, it'd be what, 21 change. So almost $22 got you what, 22, 23 years of your life your life in prison. Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2. Let's see here. Let's go down. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, starting at verse, let's start at 31. It says, O generation, see ye the word of Yahweh. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto thee. Can a maid forget her ornaments, or a bride her attire? Yet my people have forgotten me days without number. You know, a man like that should be wondering, like, man, what's going on? I mean, am I being, incarcerated for some hedge clippers for this long? Is it just? Is it, the right thing? The right judgment, punishment? More importantly, you should consider that, hey, man, something ain't right, man. You should consider that you see men of the Lord out there telling you that we're Israelites, teaching you that we're Israelites and showing you through the Holy Scriptures. And also, more importantly, showing you who our enemies are, especially the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, which are firmly in the power seat right now, for the moment, being that, the Most High haven't taken them out of power just yet. But it's coming up real soon. We're living in that time where we see his power diminishing. All right. Verse 33 says, Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. This Fair Wayne Bryant guy, I guarantee you he'll make an excuse for Esau, or just simply just trying to put Esau in a good light by saying, I did the crime, so I did the time. And a jake like that I won't even deal with, man. All right, showing you that Jake is gone, man. Jake forgot about the Most High, and they'll do anything to make sure they're okay with the so-called white man, Esau, man. After serving 22, almost 23 fucking years for stealing some hedge clippers, man. I mean, you gotta be kidding me, man. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. It says, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sword of destruction. Right, man. This is not a place that was meant for us to be at rest. Another word for rest is peace. All right, this place right here was meant to be our place of oppression, or as a punishment for being disobedient to the Heavenly Father. That's all America has been to us, from Judah on down to Issachar, from the so-called Negro to the so-called Mexican. This place have been nothing but oppression and hell, pure hell. I mean, we've been getting our asses kicked, man. All right, this is not a place of rest if you get your ass kicked day in, day out, year in, year out, decade after decade, century after century. And yet you guys are ready to line up and vote for two devils, man. I mean, the nerve of you, you know? You need to depart from this place spiritually, because that's what the scripture is talking about. Depart from this place spiritually, because we're going to physically depart from it as far as the ones of us is going to be saved by way of the chariots. Lord willing, I'm one of those Israelites. That'll be a part of the elect. Lord willing. I mean, we'll be physically separated from this place, you know, when the chariots come. You know? But spiritually, come out of this place, man. You know? Forget the so-called American dream. That was never meant for you, it was never for you. I mean, you know, Edomites talk about forgiveness, but where the forgiveness was with that? You know? What was the mercy in that, you know? James chapter 2, verse 13, it says, "For he shall have judgment without mercy that had showed no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment." So, you know, Fair Wayne Bryant wasn't showing any mercy. And I'm sure he wasn't convicted by his peers, which are Israelites. I guarantee you it was Edomites on the juror stand, or in the juror's box, however you want to word it. So it wasn't a fair trial to begin with, you know. But so be it, man. I mean, that's the reason why you Edomites are going to be judged by us, the saints. All right, the saints shall judge the world, and we are the saints. If you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, which we are the Israelites, you're a saint. And we're going to judge the world. We're going to judge the nations, the heathens. The other nations are the heathen. We're going to judge them. And you Edomites going to be judged with no mercy. So, I mean, get ready for no mercy in the kingdom of heaven, as far as you Edomites. Begin with your elites, all right, on down to the lowest Edomite, all right. So, with that, I want to say, Lord willing, this short lesson, or short video lesson, was edifying. All praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Ba'asham Rakakwadash. Until next time, I say Shalom.